welcome back to the Project Manga Podcast, where we cover One Piece, My Hero Academia, Black Clover, Mashle, Dr. Stone, and Jujutsu Kaisen week to week. Back this week covering Weekly Shonen Jump issue number 13. I'm your host, Knox.
And Nickums.
Joined once again by Shonen Snooty. Snooty, what's going on, man?
What's going on, guys?
Chilling. Glad to have you back, bro.
Glad to be back.
Yes, sir. Before we get into the conversation tonight, of course, take a look at the link down in the description. That's going to be where you can follow us on all of our individual social media accounts like Twitter, join our online communities like Discord, listen to the Project Manga Podcast wherever you normally listen to your podcasts, and support what we do here by visiting our online store or Patreon. But getting into the discussion tonight, Weekly Shonen Jump issue number 13. Let's jump right into coverage with Jujutsu Kaisen chapter 140, Ooh. Execution. This cover though, let's go.
Yes.
I love it. I love.
Look at my son.
I love seeing Okosu just full panel.
Yes.
And it's like it's perfect too. It's not like it's cut off anywhere. It's just perfect.
It's
all
beautiful.
Okosu, just awesome.
Rawness and swag.
This boy's a beast too, though.
Yes.
Holy shit.
Oh.
Yes, very happy
He's
to
a monster.
see what's going on here. I mean, it's just basically one big chase. I mean, Yuji seems to be kiting, Yuta to some degree. I don't know if he's trying to lead him to somewhere where he can fight a little bit easier, or if he's just trying to survive. I have no idea. We didn't really get too much of his. I mean, they do acknowledge each other's strengths, which is really cool. Like right away, because like a lot of people thought Yuta was just gonna dog walk this guy. You know what I mean? And it's Yuji, while he's on his back foot, is kind of putting up a decent fight for someone who's on par with Gojo, like aura-wise, you know what I mean?
Right.
So this is really cool to see.
For sure. I love this scene when they're running and Yuji like jumps over the car, but then like grabs the car and pulls back, back before he jumps or whatever. As Yuta's going around and gonna cut him in half if he did jump over the car.
Yes.
But then then you're like, oh damn, that was cool as hell. And then he punches the car towards Yuta. Oh my god, so sick. Like it's like Gon Killua in Heaven's Arena. You know what I mean? Like the rocks and shit.
Oh,
I really do love this.
I love that. I love when characters use the environment more, to their advantage, just like the point you were saying. Go ahead, though, Snooty.
I really feel bad for whoever's car this is because you did not ask for your car to just get treated like a ball.
Right, and it's a BMW too. If I'm identifying that grill properly.
Yeah, it looks like a BMW. I can kind of see
this
this.
fucked up, bro. Not the Beamer, bro.
Your insurance is not going to cover this. But when Yuji jumps over the car and then immediately flips back by grabbing like the window, it's just that was such a cool display of acrobatics. That was just like I feel like you don't ever really get to see anybody perform that well doing anything. Right. And it just goes to show why Yuji's the MC, not Yuta.
you just I mean, once again, hey, first of all, relax. Yuta's still my MC. Anyway, we got one of the biggest choreography writers in Weekly Shonen Jump's history, so we're never that's never going to be a problem. Like choreography is something that we're never going to have to worry about inside of Jujutsu Kaisen, and one of the things that I'm the most excited for whenever I come to this series when I know action is going down, and for a series that has as many like deep themes and such profound storytelling, it's crazy how it can have all of that while throwing hands as often as it does, because usually mangaka kind of choose a route. You know what I mean? Like look at Hunter x Hunter. That directly inspired this. You have amazing fights, but they're over really quickly, and you don't really get too much like raw choreography in the fight sequences. It's always about the strategy leading up to Maihatsu being effective, and there's a lot of dialogue in between that time, a lot of sleight of hand, a lot of like mental games that are played. But in Jujutsu Kaisen, it puts that hand-to-hand combat in the forefront while still having all of that really deep energy system stuff going on that we love things like Hunter x Hunter for. So
for sure,
when it's action, boy,
Jujutsu
Kaisen is incapable of missing. You know what I mean?
Like I've yet to see a fight in this entire series where it's like this fight kind of lacked a little bit. No, every single fight is beautifully drawn. Even if it's short, even if it has like close to no meaning, every fight. And I can't even say that there's a fight that has like close to no meaning, because every fight there is a setup or it's just there for a reason.
Yes.
And it's
in the
continuity of Jujutsu Kaisen.
Right. No arbitrary scuffles. Everything, even if it's short-lived, has a wildly significant narrative impact.
For sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Going back earlier in the chapter, page the page 6-7 like transition, like page 7 is so fucking awesome to me. Like everyone is kind of like saying where they stand, you know what I mean? Nalia's like, hey, for the record, like, I'm on your team here, like, maybe we work something out, right? And they're about to square up, and Yuta's just like, all right, I'll leave the other one to you. And immediately, top of page 7, it's like, bam, what's the first thing everyone does? Like, Choso immediately slaps, and then Nalia's like immediately rushing in, and we got like 1 foot of Yuji on the top left, like Yuji just running right now, and Yuta like, oh, I'm gonna get you, and this like, ooh, it's just such a split second, like, what's the first thing people do, you know what I mean? So
the sheer speed of like this page shown in the paneling being, you know, kind of like distorted the way that it is really drives home the quickness of what's going on, you know what I mean? And I love the page turn on it because like this is something that I love inside of I feel like you see it a lot more in shonen manga where, you know, you'll have like a panel where the main character or the character on screen is like smiling like and then the next panel is like you know what I mean? And I love when that's, you know, when that's going on. So and Gege is just so good at that, you know what I mean? And it reminds me of like Seven Deadly Sins, you know what I mean? Like Escanor scenes, things like that. And the octane is very high in this, and especially in this initial scene right here, because you have Choso readying the piercing blood. We know how fast of an attack that is, but Nalia's right there to kick his hands up so he can't shoot it. You know what I mean? And it shows. I mean, I think Nalia has already seen the piercing blood technique. We can assume, right? Because he kind of
he's either seen it or he knows about it because he's such a like high-ranking Zenin clan member.
Right. I want to say that he was kind of like chilling, you know, like with his like presence concealed when Yuji was having all of the curses chase him, lining him up for Choso's piercing blood.
Could be.
You know, and so I think that Nalia might have like kind of like seen that going on, you know, those in that chapter and kind of biding his time.
I saw you earlier.
Okay, so he does say it. Yeah. Okay.
You're totally right. That exact scene, he did witness that. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Okay. Yep. Okay. I don't know how I forgot about that, but yes, I saw you earlier. That was blood manipulation, right? So just like the intuition to be like, nope, not letting that get off, boom, and then just teleport there to kick the hands up that quickly. You know what I mean? It's just like these are very top tier. This is a very high level fight right now.
For sure.
I hope it doesn't get interrupted anytime soon.
And two things I do want to point out is I don't think that Choso's clapping in that top panel because like in the page before you see him like building it up between his hands. So I'm thinking what they heard was a compression of the blood like finally finishing, and then as soon as that happened, that was like the cue to let everything go off.
Yeah,
also,
good point. Yeah.
Yuta, like I'm not sure if Naoya used his Jutsushiki when he kicked Choso's arm, but if he did, that just flexes on like Yuta even more because he's right there as soon as like Naoya's kicking the arm. So that means either like Naoya teleported and then Yuta was just that fast to where it didn't even matter, they just met up at the same spot. Or they're just like decided to kick things off like immediately. They both just ran.
They don't look, I mean, like first steps like are something that I feel like as far as like scaling goes, I'm not like too into the whole scaling situation, but I feel like first steps are something that like, because they're very close proximity to each other when the conflict starts, you know what I mean? So like as big of a speed feat as we can make it, them being right next to each other in this panel on page 7, it's like they're maybe 3 meters away. You know what I mean? Like you still have to have high speed to get there, but like I don't know. I think that they're in such close. Now if we had confirmation that Naoya's technique was like Naobito's, which we can like assume it's something similar, which is fine. Then like this seems like really crazy them being right there at the same time. But I don't know, man. I feel like I'd want to see more of Naoya and Yuta before I'm like, because it is a big deal, but it's like they're so close to each other.
Like,
you know what I mean?
Mean like, anything.
It could mean anything, you know. Like
it's just like that's the first thing that popped in my head. Just like power scaling mentality. Just like how fast is this kid?
Like, they're right there.
I do think he's incredibly fast though, right? Because like if you imagine like say page 3 where he kind of just jumps down and just obliterates this wall essentially, right? Like just totally power feat, right? But speed is a power feat for your legs, right? Like if your legs can't emit power, you can't run, you know what I mean? So like I feel like he very well could be fast, not because his body is fast, but because he has so much cursed energy, he can just reinforce his legs and just go.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
And I think that is
I'm
the
sure
point.
He's very fast.
Yeah, I think that's the point that's actually being made here is that like Yuta says I'm weak, but I got a bunch of cursed energy. You know what I'm saying? So I'm essentially we're on the same level physically because I can just give myself more physical stats with my cursed energy.
Right.
But like let's say that this is like the speed feat that Shooty's talking about right now, which I feel totally fine about. It makes sense because these people are all like kind of relative. You have Yuto Kotsu, who is being compared to Gojo right here. You have Nalia, who's being compared to Naobito. You have Choso, who we know is like above the speed of sound or close to it. You know what I mean? So because of his piercing blood exposition, something around there. These are all very like high speed characters, and of course Yuji is Yuji, who was like introduced with speed feats essentially. So it's like who's now 15 fingers deep. You know what I mean? So like all of this stuff feels about right, and it feels like very balanced and even though we want to say Yuta this and Yuta that, but Yuji's keeping up. You know what I mean? And when we come back to Choso and Nalia, I feel like that will be a pretty close fight too. You know what I mean? So I love the way that the power feels in Jujutsu Kaisen at all times. It never feels like wonky. You know what I mean? If it does feel wonky for a moment, we have history in the series that says exposition will come that makes sense of that. So I think it feels great, and I think that this is I think that this is like one of the like most intense situations in the series so far, even though we just came out of Shibuya incident, Gojo is sealed, things like that. But like now it's like a real civil war. And someone was just talking about it in one of the group chats. It's like, when has a mangaka ever put their two main characters against each other outside of like Dragon Ball with like Goku and Arale, you know, and things like that. And just that situation itself inside of Jujutsu Kaisen right now is something that I didn't really think too much about, but like that's rare, and it like does a lot for the stakes, I feel like, because it's like, who do you root for? You don't have that idea that it's like, well, it's the main character, so the author's obviously, wait, but he's fighting another main character, so what's gonna happen? So you know what I mean?
Like at least with like Zoro and Ryuma, like you got like, okay, well, Ryuma was an old MC, but Zoro's the secondary character. At least he's the first mate of the captain.
Yeah, and the like, Ryuma Zoro fought was a shell of the Ryuma from Monsters. You know what I mean? So yeah. But this is like, this is peak condition MCs from both stories. Like, I have no idea how this is going to go. But one question that I had for you guys here, I saw someone ask this question on the timeline. I don't know how it makes sense, but people are trying to say that like Yuji and Choso are communicating telepathically because of the way that their dialogue bubbles are like set up.
I took that as like whispering.
I took it as whispering too.
It's 100% whispering.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, I just wanted to throw that out there. I just wanted to throw it out there. I saw it on the timeline and I was like,
I mean, like, so just generally in terms of, you know, manga and comics, right? Usually when you have the speech bubbles broken up into little bits, right? It's a thought, right? But I can't think of any examples offhand, but there's definitely cases where you do the same sort of drawing, you know, a split bubble to imply whispering, right?
I think it's the shape of the line work, right? Because in like a thought bubble, you have like circular, little
like cloudy, like clouds or something. But this is
like more straight, boxy, and triangular. You know what I mean? So yeah, absolutely. I just wanted to throw that out there just to see if you guys may have potentially thought a similar thing. I feel like it would have been brought up by now if you guys did, but I just saw the panels again and I was like, oh yeah, someone brought that up.
One thing I do want to say is that I love that even though Gege hates Gojo and the fact that like they're glad that Gojo's out of the story, they still find a way to tie him back into how important he was to the entire Jujutsu world by with any feat of his that even exists. Like even here, like Yuta says, like, I'm sure you've noticed by now, I have more cursed energy than Gojo Sensei.
Right.
And he's like, okay, well, he has basically limitless cursed energy, but I just have more. And I think the best explanation I've seen about that is like Gojo has this he has a ceiling. But that ceiling, it's like if you have like a mana bar, like a game, it's just gonna keep refilling no matter how much or how. Oh,
so after you use a technique, it takes so much mana, but then as soon as it's finished being casted, it replenishes.
Yeah, where Yuta will just like keep using it, but he can use more high volume techniques
exactly
in a row than Gojo can.
Sure.
Right. So to continue like the mana bar example, there would be theoretically techniques that Gojo could not do, right? It takes too much MP to cast it.
Yes.
But Yuta could cast it because he has a higher
Reserve.
bar of the mana.
But he'll run out of mana before Gojo does.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So Gojo
or like you
has
could do like
more
a hose example.
Yeah.
Like Gojo is a skinnier hose that the water lasts forever, and Yuta is a huge fire hose, but there's a tank and it's limited. There's a limit to the water.
Good, great analogy there.
Yes,
absolutely love that. And I think it's cool how, even though we get that confirmation there, there was like before this chapter, I had assumed that Yuta's cursed energy was literally limitless, and maybe it was back when Rika was the whole thing with Rika. But now that Rika is different, I want to say not gone. I want to say it's different because we still don't have confirmation on that. Now the way that I'm thinking about it now is that like Rika was dispelled as far as the Rika that we saw in the prequel, but then some kind of reassimilation of Rika thereafter put it to where it's no longer like a vengeful spirit attachment, but like a vengeful spirit absorption. And Rika is still there in cursed energy form inside of Yuta, which is why he still addresses Rika the way that he does, but it's still all entirely contained within himself now, instead of a stand inside of Rika, essentially. You know what I mean? If that makes sense. Yeah. I don't know if it does, but that's just kind of how I'm interpreting it for now.
Sure.
And so since Rika is still involved, that's why his cursed energy ceiling is as high as it is still, is kind of just the way that I'm kind of going with it. But I don't know how you guys feel about that, or if that makes sense.
I think there's several ways to explain it. I think your idea is totally good as an assumption going forward, but until we get like explicit confirmation about why he still mentions Rika, like what was he doing in Africa, you know what I mean? All that kind of stuff. Like I think there's like several ways to explain why he still has such a high cursed energy pool or whatever.
Yeah, absolutely. What do you guys think about this these last couple pages? So 18. An elite fighter has greater accuracy in controlling cursed energy, making it difficult to predict an attack until the movement is executed. This brought me right back to Greed Island and earlier in the Chimera Ant arc when Gon is fighting Knuckle, and you get all of those amazing diagrams about like POW and AOP and all of those like acronyms and shit. Like, and it was just like, yes. Thank you. And we already knew that this was a thing in Jujutsu Kaisen, but I think this is the first time we've gotten a tried and true diagram for it.
We didn't get a diagram for it before. We just got Toto's like dialogue saying, this is how it works.
Yeah. Right. I thought that we had a diagram for it before, but I know that it's just a combination of memories because we had the baseball scene in Jujutsu Kaisen after the exchange event ended, and then also coincidentally in Hunter x Hunter, the this analogy that we're seeing in this, or this diagram or this example that we're seeing in this chapter ties directly back to a diagram that we got in Hunter x Hunter where Gon and Killua are on like a baseball diamond, you know what I mean? And Knuckle is talking to Gon about how your Jajanken, you can easily fake people out with it because when you sit there and you build up so much energy in your hand and it's so obvious where your aura is going, it's like a fastball. You know what I mean? You're going to hit it. You know what I mean? So you have to hit it, and it makes it makes it easier for Gon to set you up and then trick you because you're so focused on hitting that perfect pitch. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I loved everything about what these two panels are doing right now.
But I love also that it's like it gives you the cool diagram about how the energy system works, but then also transitions it into a feat for Yuta, because it's like, generally, if you see someone like putting a whole bunch of cursed energy in their hand, they're gonna punch you, and it's like, oh yeah, you're an average user. I can see what you're doing and predict it and avoid it, right?
Yeah.
But if you're really good, like you don't do that until the very, very end. So even though it looks like you're punching him, it's like I can't tell. Like it's so perfectly distributed. I can't see where the attack is. But
is
Yuta,
it a kick? Is it a punch? Like,
right? But Yuta's just like, I'm gonna have so much cursed energy that doesn't matter what I do, I'm going to obliterate you with it. But and therefore, like, even though it's average and like I could put a whole fuck ton in my whole right side, what are you gonna do about it? Like you can't block everything, right? Like, so I'm just so powerful that it looks elite because there's nothing you can tell that I'm doing in particular, but it's everything's too much so you can't block it anyway.
Right. I love that. So, but here's another thing though. He hits Yuta with the hilt of his sword. Or he hits Yuji with the hilt of his sword. Right there. Why did he do that? Could have just killed him like he wants to.
I think it was because like he was in close range, so he only had the option to either slash him or I don't know, hit him and gain some distance. So he just opted for the latter.
Sure.
Hmm.
I just want to assume that for some reason Yuta is holding back right now, either because he wants to play with Yuji, wants more information from Yuji before killing him, or it has an entirely different ulterior motive under a veil of assassinating Yuji Itadori. Because it's
Right.
like,
I'd be fine with either of those.
Yeah.
Or just
Yep.
yeah. But that's basically because I didn't even notice what had even happened in this panel until the second time that I had gone through it. And then I was like, oh yeah, okay, so he hits him here. I thought like for some reason the hand I was seeing was like a block and this was like a foot or something. I don't even know what the fuck I was seeing the first time I went through it. But the second time I'm like, no, he definitely hits him with the back of his shit, you know, with the handle of his shit right here. And it's like, just made me think it's probably nothing, but it just made me go like,
why wouldn't it like do serious damage? You're saying,
or just like why? Like,
why did he do that and not kill him? Right? If you hit him, just kill him. Then
I was thinking it could have either been like, why not just make it like a lethal slash attack that Yuji dodged? You know, why is it a connection, and why is it with a non-lethal part of the weapon? You know what I mean? Like, Gege could have wrote this, you know, a lot of different ways to show this. You know what I mean? But you made a connection with the weapon that wasn't lethal, and that's just, you know, arms crossy to me right now anyway. But either way, you know what I mean? I think Yuta is still very serious about what's going on here. And there's a possibility that like next chapter, he does actually like go back to like lethal stuff. And this was just this exchange.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But question I have for you guys, you think Yuta has Black Flash, or that we'll see Black Flash from Yuta in this fight, or at some point in time during the conflict that Yuta is involved with in this arc?
I feel like he may have accomplished it overseas, but I don't know if we'll see it in this arc.
Well, with the way that we're getting all of this like aura related stuff for Yuta, I have to assume he's tapped into the Black Flash at least once in his life, because it's like, sure, you have the Rika stuff, which can explain everything, but I just think that there's just so many aura related things that it could sure all be Rika, or we could get an explanation that's like, yeah, I got Black Flash too. You know what I mean? And I feel like that would make sense of a lot of the aura related feats that he's kind of had since his reemergence in the storyline.
I just can't remember if there are like, if there's exposition around if a certain type of person is like more susceptible to learning Black Flash. You know what I mean? Like if you're like more like an enhancer type, like Yuji say, or and you'll just like, you're more in tune with your body, so that therefore like you can do it easier. Maybe Yuta just isn't that type of fighter, right? His type of fighting is, I just have so much cursed energy, it doesn't matter what you do, that's just my style, too bad, you lose anyway. And then Yuji is more of a fighter that is more intuition and like a more enhancer type, like go and say, so he can just like access Black Flash more. I just don't remember if there's like dialogue around that, but if there is, that would be where you would go to figure out your guess if Yuta had a Black Flash or not.
As far as Black Flash stipulations go, from my memory, I believe what we have is total concentration, to the point of like, we actually just got this in the anime. Yuji was so concentrated that he was fucking drooling. Absolutely. Then after that, I think you have to have cursed energy control by extension from the concentration that you have to, you know, apply a load of cursed energy within point, I think it's like 5,000
seconds.
Trillionth of a second.
Right. So I think you just need concentration, timing, and then obviously there's a luck factor involved. But like, I don't think you're who you are, at least in the narrative so far, is explained to go into why you can do Black Flash. But if Yuji can do Black Flash, I want to say Yuta can, just because they're both main characters. Yuta obviously has, you know, this giant cursed energy reserve, but I think based on what Nick was saying earlier about this diagram and his cursed energy, yes, he seems elite because you can't tell where the aura is going before it hits you, but there's just so much aura that every attack can be decisive. You know what I mean? So maybe that prevents Yuta from like fully tapping into the Black Flash, because his aura is constant, it's so chaotic. You know what I mean? So that could be a potential advantage for Yuji, is basically where I'm going with this. Over Yuta is that obviously Yuji, I think, has tied the record of consecutive Black Flashes with Nanami at this point.
Yep.
So, like, if there is going to be an advantage that makes sense for Yuji to pull one over on Yuta in any capacity, I think Black Flash is the answer there. That keeps us away from a Sukuna save. You know what I mean? In my opinion. So, yeah.
Yuji tying the record for Black Flash like minutes after learning Black Flash. You know what I mean? Like just like the first time he's using Black Flash, he's already an expert at it essentially.
Yeah, I already got it 4 times down. Like, what's good, Nanami?
Yeah. Hell yeah. I don't know if I had anything else.
I do want to say I do like how important all the dialogue Yuji has absorbed throughout this entire series has been made extremely important within just these last like 3 pages. We see his conversation with Toto within the Goodwill event, and then we see the last words that we get from Nanami. You've got it from here, and we see how important that is for Yuji when he's facing Yuta.
Yes,
and I love that. I really do.
Absolutely,
that was beautiful.
Gege knows how to tie important narrative things into like every single moment of combat in this story, and I feel like that is something that a lot of authors I don't want to say forget to do. I don't want to say just don't think of outright. I think that I don't want to try to act like I know the thought processes of these mangaka, but I feel like it's just not something that's executed as well outside of Jujutsu Kaisen. It feels like Gege Akutami like looks at like the shonen combat formula and kind of like saw like, yeah, these fights look really cool, but there's like barely any emotional investment.
Right.
You know what I mean? And at least that is something that I've kind of had an issue with inside of this genre, you know, over the years, because I'm once you start like really looking at series as deeply as we've kind of had to after starting this, things like that kind of like jump out at you. You know what I mean?
Right.
And like new information comes in that changes your perspective, and you watch like a whole bunch of like YouTube analysis videos and see what people who really fine tooth comb these series have to say about things. And like common denominators that come back is power fantasy criticisms and, you know, how flat fights feel in shonen lately, you know what I mean? And or at least before this like stretch of time where everything is wild, everything in the magazine is doing everything so incredibly, but it's just refreshing to know that there isn't like a single moment inside of Jujutsu Kaisen that you can look back on and go, this was just a fight for the sake of swag, you know what I mean? And I just like that like that kind of thoroughness, you know, from the author, you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. It's like other mangaka. Like I like you said, I don't want to speak too many words on like how they may feel, but it feels to me like they might find it a little bit unnecessary because it's like, okay, we already got it. You don't need another rehashing. You've already got my series. But with Jujutsu Kaisen, it's like, okay, you got it. Let me rehash this within the fight so you are more emotionally invested with the character.
Absolutely.
Hell yeah.
That is exactly what it is. And it is executed phenomenally every single time.
Immaculately.
Yeah. But I think that's all I had for Jujutsu Kaisen this week. Are you guys good?
Yeah, that's all for me. It was a great chapter.
Amazing chapter.
Love seeing Yuta flex.
Yes. Yes. And now that I feel like as action heavy as this chapter was, I still feel like it's a setup for like the real action that's going to be going down right now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like I feel like some like super drastic shit is going to happen next chapter that no one
like Megumi still has to show up.
Yeah, where's Miguel?
The beginning of the fight.
Where's Miguel, right? Because
I don't know. If Yuta's back, Miguel has to be back.
Right, exactly.
Unless he decided to just stay in Africa, which I wouldn't doubt, but like
you never know though.
You never know.
Yeah. But alright, cool. Jujutsu Kaisen 140. Great combo, you guys. Okay. Getting into Dr. Stone, chapter 187. Cyber Gorilla. How do we feel?
It's a weird name for a chapter. Yeah, Kohaku is going nuts, but that's a weird name for a chapter with no gorillas or cyber.
Yeah. Well, I think the gorilla part is one part the tactics that they're using in their fight, and the second part is that's the name for the strong characters in Senku's Senku's team is the gorilla unit. Either like he calls them gorillas because they're so strong. They're like, don't call me a monkey or whatever the joke is. But the cyber part, what's that?
I don't know.
Yeah, I was like, is it cyber because of like all the technology that was used this chapter? I don't know. Like I was trying to find a connection there, but
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like they do use some technology, I guess. Like
Yeah.
if we're assuming the guerrillas, like you know what I mean, like in terms of guerrilla warfare, are on our team, the good team.
Yeah.
Then the technology they use that you could call cyber is like they recorded those gunshots, right? The fake gunshots or whatever.
Yeah, that's what I was assuming. Since
it's not very cyber, but I mean, like it's a stone world, so I guess everything's pretty cyber compared to the stone world.
Yes, Riichiro created a new subgenre of sci-fi called cyber steampunk.
But that's not. No.
It's like futuristic but old school. I don't know.
But I think that's really interesting in terms of like the setup for the future chapters, right? Where it's like we're getting an action heavy chapter, and they even comment like, oh, this is great because this is probably exactly what we need. Because we're actually still trying to make another Medusa, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like we have one, but for some reason, Senku is like saying like, yes, our path to victory is simple. Activate a petrification device before the enemy shows up. So it's like, and then you see in the background like, God, what's his name? Like the Kaseki, right? Kaseki is like working on something right now, right? So it's like, are they trying to make a second one, or are they referring to the first one? Just like make sure the first one goes off without a hitch. I don't know.
That is a good question, because this comes back into like Senku's confidence all the time. It's like, okay, why show Kaseki here? Senku seems to have, and we know that he's very bright, he's very quick on the uptake, but I'm trying to ask myself, like, what's more impressive? Senku like being so confident because he's already had this contingency thought out, or is it more impressive that Senku gets this new information surprisingly and then confidently has this line of dialogue seconds after receiving the information? You know what I mean? I don't know what it is, but I do agree with you that they do show Kaseki here in this panel right after all of that. So it does beg the question, like, is a Medusa already operational and they're trying to get a second one going?
Well, I think we do know that we do have one operational.
Wait, did they say that?
I was think that they finally like figured out how to make the diamonds not just ash within it.
Oh,
but,
sure.
I think they're just trying to put it together, and then they're trying to like make that second one right now.
Yeah, because we know that they cracked the code last chapter with the cleavage planes or whatever, or the chapter before maybe.
Yeah,
but
I think it is. Yeah.
Okay, so you're saying that's like the basic essentially the confirmation for they have one operational. And now,
well,
no, I think they had one before that. Like they've always had one.
Okay.
Remember, like they were putting they make the tower in the middle of their base, right? And they have the Medusa up there, and they're like, okay, great, this is perfect. Like anyone can speak into one of these microphones and then use the one Medusa we have to obliterate everyone. So I'm pretty sure they already have one.
I guess I was just interpreting that scene as once we get the Medusa working, this is how the strategy is going to go. Is how
that could be it. I might be misinterpreting something, or been having misinterpreting something for several chapters or whatever.
But sounds
I'm pretty sure they
really
have one.
Good. Yeah, like that sounds really good if they already have one for sure, and they want to make sure that they have a second one because the first one is obviously going to fail because of stakes and storytelling, and then boom, guess
Someone
what?
was talking about this. I'm pretty sure it was you. Like that. Like, wouldn't it make sense to have a backup? You know what I mean? Like, it seems so weird to put all your eggs in one basket. So I'm pretty sure someone was talking about that. Within the last couple episodes or whatever. Yeah,
it's definitely a Senku-esque plan to always have a backup, to always have like a contingency in case his foolproof plan doesn't work.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. I was just wondering, like, what's tighter? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm down to plan F. You know what I mean, as far as backups go, or I came up with plan B on the spot. You know what I mean?
Sure. They're both good.
They're both really good. They're both really
good. To be
good.
honest, no matter what, Senku is just gonna have an amazing plan. Period.
I know. But yeah, man. I love how Shishio and Hyoga come to back up Kohaku.
Yes.
I think that's amazing because I don't think that there's ever been this situation where they're all three on the front line like this.
Yeah,
I think she says. I think she actually says that at the end of the chapter.
Yep.
Like, yeah, we've never rode into battle together. Yeah.
Ooh, I love this transition too, right? They're in the tree and they're like about to pounce, and then Lady turns around with her like instincts from, what did she say? Like, my instincts as the All-American Women's Division MMA champion.
Yeah, okay, so this is the question. So does that mean Shishio knows this person?
He might, because...
He probably might, yeah.
There's a good chance that he knows.
So is this his first time, like, meeting her?
Yeah,
okay.
First time like properly meeting her. I don't think they've ever like encountered at any other time before this, as far as we know.
Because he made a comment one time that was like, I would know. I think when he met Kohaku, He was like, you're way too strong. You have to have been born in the stone world, because I would know who you were if you existed in the 21st century.
Right.
Because I'm the GOAT at this physical shit, and I know all the physical people.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, he's an MMA fighter too, right?
So. Yeah. He's an MMA fighter. Yeah. I thought
that's crazy. I didn't think about that at all. So like, there's a very good chance here that as these two groups are gonna come to a head, that she is going to recognize Tsukasa, or the reverse. He's going to recognize her, and they're gonna be like, "Whoa, it's you!"
She's
like,
gonna be a fanboy, dude.
Yeah.
She's gonna be like,
"Oh, she's gonna.
I'm not fighting." Yeah.
Oh my god!
Or she's gonna be like, I'm not fighting him because he's too much, and maybe she just has like, obviously she has all the firepower in the world behind her. I could see it being a scene where she's just like so scared of the legend of Shishio Tsukasa that she's just like, no, you know what I mean? And that's one, obstacle out of the way, because they're setting her up so. Like, look at this page on like 14. You know what I mean? Like, she looks so scary. I could see her being built up as this massive threat, and then the way that she's drawn on, the subsequent chapter or the subsequent page. You know what I mean? Like, just a huge threat being built up here, and then Shishio. Nope, I'm good. I think that would be hilarious.
Yeah. But I gotta say, this transition from like these double spreads at the end, right? Like, she finds them, and then they're like, oh my god, this 16-17 like 3-panel spread, right? Where like Tsukasa's just like throwing off the coat, you know what I mean? Like, oh my god, this is so sick. I'm actually kind of on the edge of my seat here. Like, before we had this conversation, I did not think about the MMA fighter connection, so I was like, they're definitely gonna fight, and this is actually very high stakes, because we can always heal people with the Medusa, you know what I mean? You freeze them and you unfreeze them, boom, their wounds are healed. That's what we did with Tsukasa before, and Senku before, right? Yeah. So like, it's very high likelihood to me that someone's gonna quote unquote die here, you know what I mean? Like, one of these three are gonna get severely wounded, save with the Medusa. But then, like, they're just so brave, you know what I mean?
They
like,
are so brave. They're jumping towards automatic fire.
Oh my! I couldn't be me. Could not be me.
I can see it, but see, they've been in this situation before, right? And like, Dr. Stone characters don't make the same mistakes twice. You know what I mean? So like, they know what they're doing right now. They know that they're jumping towards automatic muzzles right now. You know what I mean? So like, they have to have some kind of idea besides just hope we don't get shot this time. You know what I mean? So I can see it either going the way that I kind of tried to bring up a little bit earlier, or they do really just start unloading on them. But Shishio's weapon looks like it can be, brought up to block, fatal, shit. And then maybe Hyoga throws his shit, I don't fucking know, but it definitely is very high stakes and very scary, but I'm confident that they have a plan going into this rush.
They're not the types that'll just jump in
again,
guns blazing.
Because we kind of already seen this scene before. Yeah, where they were like, "All right, Guerrilla Team, do your thing," and they're like, "Ha ha, do." You know what I mean? So like, we kind of already seen something like that. I mean, Tsukasa at least has already been shot for sure. So
yes.
Yeah.
And Hyoga.
And Hyoga's been shot too. Both of the shoulders, I think.
Yeah, the way I see it, I think if anybody's gonna die, it's gonna be Hyoga, because like Kohaku's too important to the story. So Shishio. Yep. Hyoga's the only one who has like any type of issues.
And he's just like, he's just a villain like through and through. I know that they're kind of using his like villainous tendencies as comedy in this chapter, but he's still a very like you can't just have this motherfucker running around, bro. Unless there's some like massive turning point for his character. If he's gonna be saying shit like this the whole time, I could totally see him dying, and it being a big deal because he's cool now. Everyone can like, that can be a huge death for people because they like Hyoga now. But I mean, like, if he's not gonna shape up and ship out, it's like, yeah, go ahead and sacrifice yourself, pimp, because we don't need people like that in the new world. I'm sorry.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, like I can see Tsukasa just being like, we don't need you in the new world because you're just gonna go crazy.
Right. Too volatile. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Going back a little bit, I love these. There's like two parts of this chapter I really love. Like this exposition of as they're using this gunfire noise decoy, immediately Stanley's team knows what to do, right? Like, oh yeah, sure, like the some of these people will engage in gunfire, a few people will go around, do some tactics and go to fight the real threat or whatever. And I love that they mentioned, like, what is this, like, this is just as combat theory dictates, right? where in the stone world, Kohaku and all of the, you know, stone people, they don't know anything about modern, you know, warfare tactics. You know what I mean? Like, it's why would they have to fight wars anyway? But like, all the knowledge has been lost. But these people from the past, like, they know. It's like they've been playing Call of Duty with their friends for, you know, like decades, you know what I mean? Like they know exactly like where to run and what to do in any situation. It's pretty crazy.
Yes. I love how like this helps for the stakes, right? Because like usually, because this is a really good idea that they spent a lot of time on this chapter, is setting up this fake gunshot sound. And then as soon as it's used, we get a diagram that says they didn't actually fall for it. You know what I mean? And it's like, that's really scary, you know, to like, you know, that's a really crazy situation, because it's like, if that's how it's going to be, then it's probably going to be like that until the moment they lose. And that's really good for tension. You know what I mean? Every single time the protagonists think they have an advantage, they're hard countered by the opposition in ways that they were already expecting. So it's like, how do they win? And then obviously you write that as well as we know Riichiro probably is going to, but I just like how the uncertainty is everything, you know, for me. Right. And especially with a cliffhanger, like it leads into at the end of this chapter, getting this diagram before then makes that cliffhanger that much more intense, because we already saw a really good thought out idea that they had completely get countered, and now we're resorting to just jump at them and hoping that works a little bit better, you know what I mean? So it's like, ooh.
Right. The other cool thing about this chapter to me is that how they're talking about destroying the enemy's transceiver, right? Like the main thing to do is cut off their communication, because, and I was not thinking about this at all, right? But it unlocks the hostage situation a lot, because right now both sides have hostages, so you can't really use hostages. It doesn't mean anything, because if you kill mine, I'll just radio back to my friends and say, yeah, kill all of them. They broke the rules or whatever of hostages. But if you break their communication, boom, now you can just be like, okay, we're going to kill Xeno here. Like, just give up.
Just do it. Communication, free game. Everybody's allowed to die.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's.
I just thought that was cool. I didn't think about that at all.
Me neither.
Before this chapter. Yeah,
me neither. I thought that then I thought that the soldiers pulling up the way that they did was like worst case scenario. Nothing can be done about it. Let's just, you know, send the Medusa off. But then like seeing the way that it developed, it's like I didn't think that this was going to be a way that the storytelling could go. And I'm really thoroughly trying to think of like exactly, because like this is kind of the only area where, because like when it's inventing stuff, no hope. You know what I mean? But when it's fighting, you can try. You know what I mean?
Yes, to predict things.
To predict things. Yeah. And it's like just every single time, even inside of the area I thought I was more confident in, Riichiro's just like, nope, I still got you.
Yeah.
You thought. You thought. But I do love these like last two double spreads with everybody going at each other, and the one where Shishi's just throwing off like the lion's mane, whatever that is.
And then Hyoga's throwing his shit off too. I saw a comment actually, someone made on the timeline, I think, when someone shared this spread. It's like, do you think that they're taking off their clothes because they don't want, you know, they want less things for people to like grab, like in the fight, or is it literally just for fan service, or is there a tactical like situation involved as far as
I would say motion, freedom of motion, maybe.
Sure.
Yeah, freedom of motion. Take like, you know, reduce the amount of things that you can grab within a fight, because Kohaku has nothing that you can really grab aside from like her actual clothing. So like, she's not just gonna throw that off.
Right. Because in terms of like why would you leave on a cloak, right? It makes your body larger, so it's harder to figure out like where do I shoot to hit you, you know what I mean? But these are professional 100% accuracy soldiers, right? Like they're never going to fall for a big cloak and like missing your midsection, you know what I mean, or your head. Like that, it won't help them in this case. So I think, I mean, it's badass as hell. Like I wasn't really thinking for a reason of why they were doing this.
I wasn't either until I remembered that comment. I thought it was literally just like, we here, it's hype time,
yeah, let's get it.
But that was just a question I thought would be cool. But I think you explained it like so well. Yeah, freedom of motion, and we're not going to trick them. So
right,
don't need this.
Yeah, this is going to be a no holds barred, just brawl.
Love that though. Did you guys have anything else that you wanted to say about Dr. Stone this week?
No, that's all I had.
Just Boichi just knows what he's doing.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm so ready for next week, man. probably one of the series, like I'm for like the next chapter. Like obviously I'm excited for everything this week to come back next week, but like I think I'm gonna read Dr. Stone first next week.
Ooh. high honor.
Yeah, like any time that you want to see that Tsukasa fight, then yeah, I'm subscribed to it completely.
I just need to know what happens, like literally the first page, like because they're gonna like I feel like the first panel is just gonna be boop 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 boop. You know what I mean? And I'm just like, oh, I don't know what's gonna happen. I just need to see it. Okay.
Gunfire, they're gonna scatter, or Hyoga's gonna like knock the guns out of everybody's hands with his like long spear technique.
Yes.
But then have bullet holes like after he disarms them. Oh no! And everyone's like, Hyoga, you did it, and he's like, yeah, but.
Now I'm so cheese.
Okay. All right, getting into Mashle, Magic and Muscles, chapter 52. Finn Ames and the Friend.
Ooh,
this chapter is massive.
I love this chapter. Great characterization for Finn.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, damn, at the beginning of this chapter, he was being really pathetic.
Yeah.
Like, but then he turned it around. He really turned it around.
He was being pathetic, but it was well within like Finn's character.
Super par for the course. Yeah.
It was just like, okay, yeah, I want you to suck it up, but I do understand where you're coming from.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Absolutely. So let's talk about these cover pages, because amazing colored work here from Komoto.
The color on the angel, I love this like this magenta and this purple like together, and with his like velvet robe and his like velvet-ish hair. That is it's beautiful.
Yeah, the color scheme goes really crazy. Absolutely. Yeah, and then going into like the double spread, I love like the brush strokes, the white brush strokes against the yellow.
Super vibrant. Yeah,
this really white and yellow American flag type. No.
Yeah, I see it now. But I just think the color palette is so well constructed. I just like the primary colors behind all of the protagonists really makes everything just pop so well, and everything is blended so beautifully. And it's like
you guys?
Yeah.
My bad.
Oh, I was just gonna say I see colorists on on Twitter, color pages and whatnot, and I've seen colored manga before, and I'm always like, man, these guys are so good, and they are so good. They're brilliant. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to take anything away from them, but I forget like the mangaka themselves are the best ones, though. You know what I mean? And it's like, God, whenever I see it, I'm just like, I forget, and I'm like, God damn, this is amazing.
Y'all really know what the fuck y'all doing.
Yeah, it's not just the black and white shit. But yeah, what were you saying, Shooter?
I was asking, do either of you know if this was for a popularity poll or anything?
I don't know.
I don't know. It is chapter 52. It could be like the 1 year color spread, but there's no like in your face, like, there's no Andy like with the one finger in the air, you know what I mean, like. Right. So I don't know. Yeah, it's a good question.
Yeah, but I think this is just this would just be anniversary colorings, right? Is this? I mean, it dropped literally the same week as Undead Unluck, who just had. Yeah,
who just had their 1 year
anniversary and color spread. So
yeah, and you can't split the 1 year. So
yeah, hell yeah. But yeah, getting into the chapter though, I love how, man, I was really ready for Finn's magic to end up being shield magic. I was like ready for that.
As soon as I heard you guys, as soon as you guys said it, I was like, oh yes, shield magic. As soon as he activates right now, he's just gonna block everything this guy has.
Yes.
Nope.
I was so confident that that's what it was going to be, but he basically just has like, I mean, essentially
Toto
boogie woogie kind of.
Yeah. I mean, like, I was wondering, is all of, so there's your personal magic, right? And then everyone can fly broom, and everyone, like, there are spells that are shared, right? You learn in class, I guess, right?
I'm pretty sure there are like abilities that you can like just like, hey, Avada Kedavra or whatever Harry Potter spell you want to whip out at the time.
Yeah.
And then you have your personal magic, which is like the what's the thing that Finn's brother does? The partisan.
Oh,
yeah,
sure.
Like stuff like that.
So I think that you just have like your affinity, right? You have like what you're born at, like your element essentially, and then you have just like things that anyone can learn, like in a book or something. Yeah.
So I guess what I'm getting at is that when he's using this changias, you know what I mean, on page 17, and he switches Carpaccio's location with the other student or something about changing positions of things. Yeah. Could that be a spell that anyone could learn? Does that have to be his personal magic? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess it could. Didn't they comment on his ability like specifically right after that though?
He does say right after that, I was smart to save my personal magic to the last possible moment.
Yeah.
And so I guess it's a good assumption that this is his personal magic.
Mhm.
I guess like something about the wording just I feel like slightly leaves it open. Like
Yes.
I'm still saving it until the last possible moment. Like it was smart of me not to just use it right there. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
I don't know.
So this
This
totally could
wording
be a
could be-
shared ability, right?
Yeah.
Because like we've seen like Lance, right? So Lance
Mhm.
will pull out his shit and go graviole, and then you get a
Mhm.
gravity based ability.
Mhm.
You know, but we've also seen people pull out their wands and chant incantations for spells that don't necessarily link up with their affinity, haven't we?
I assume so.
I want to say closer to the beginning because like
Yeah,
the
closer to
more
the
we got
beginning.
into Mashle, we got to see more of people's personal magic because that's their main thing. It's like saying a Kekkei Genkai. Like you can use a bunch of other Naruto abilities, but
Yeah.
why when I could just whip out my specialty and you have no counter for that because we
Right.
don't make magic for this special ability that only comes from me.
Yeah, it's a
Right,
bloodline
right.
trait, right? So
Yeah.
But like say page 23.
yeah.
Finn is using Nalkos, right? And of course, we don't know what Nalkos is either because it
Yeah.
doesn't like go off. He gets hurt right afterward. But does he have Changeos and Nalkos? Are both under his personal magic, or is one of those or both of those a general magic that anyone could cast? It just like it seems still unclear, and I feel like I don't know, like this very well could be his magic. I'm not saying it isn't. It probably is. That'd be my guess if I had to pick. But
Yeah.
I feel like it still is open. You know, what I
I
mean?
think I agree with you, Nick, that these are just regular spells that Finn is using, and that his true magic is still on the way because Finn's magic has been held on purpose.
Yes.
It's not just this is just like he's had plenty of times to show us his magic and hasn't. So
Right.
we can be pretty confident that Komoto is specifically hiding it, and for him
Right.
to show it finally the way that it feels kind of anticlimactic in this
Yes.
chapter, the way that
Yes.
it's used.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's got to be a bigger deal than just
Yes.
like the way
I
that
can
it's been
switch
shown.
places.
Yeah. I mean,
Right.
like not even like just like the like it could still be I change places, but it would have been done more theatrically if
Exactly.
that's what
Exactly.
his like serious magic was. You know what
Now,
I mean?
one thing that you can do in this situation, right? If you're the writer, right, and you want to use his ability, but still have an epic reveal.
Yeah.
Carpaccio is the one who said, "Oh, like his magic swaps the position of things?" ? Maybe he's wrong, right? Maybe it looks like it swapped the position of things, but what if it's like, I don't know, time manipulation, right? He rewound him back to where he was before, and he was like, "Oh, that's strange. Like, I was here before, but that guy's not here, so like maybe he switched positions, but maybe it's something else, and then the reveal is, oh, it's actually this, and it's way more badass than you thought it was before, right?"
Yeah. And I do like the idea of the author writing a character deducing the ability
Mm-hmm.
and it being wrong because
Yes.
like it's not your ability. Like you don't have to be right just because you said words. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like it's definitely speculation. And
Yes.
and then we get Finn who doesn't confirm anything. You
Mhm.
know what I mean? So I like
Yeah,
that
it's
a lot.
It's
Yeah.
like one of those Toshiro situations where, like, close to like the beginning of the Arankar arc in Bleach, there was an Arankar who was like, "Yeah, so your ability is this. Those flower petals do that," and he didn't say anything. He just let him continue.
Yeah.
Right.
And then when his ability finally got like displayed, people were like, "Oh no, this is Aspel. They said it was this and that, and this and that." And I was like, "No, he never confirmed anything.
Yeah,
he
it
just
doesn't have to be
guessed."
right just because a character says, "Oh, I think this is what it is." Like,
Yep.
sure, there's a lot of times where that is the case, so I can
Yes.
understand why people would assume that a character said it, therefore it has to be right.
Mhm.
But I mean, it's definitely not a guarantee.
For sure,
Yeah.
for sure.
Like I feel like until there's hard exposition from like a narration box or the character
Mhm.
themselves, then you gotta wait for those kind of things. But
How about Carpaccio's ability, huh?
right,
I love it. It's like voodoo magic or something. Like I'm not really sure what to call it, but
Right.
the way he's stabbing himself, everybody else is taking the damage.
Right.
He doesn't have to really do too much other than affect himself.
Right. And he's not taking any damage. Like he
Yeah.
has no blood on himself, you know what I mean? He's hurting himself, but his shirt is like untouched. So it's like perfect damage redirection. It's not like a really common ability. I get hurt, but you also get hurt, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? But we both get hurt, so it kind of sucks for me.
what's the
It
relevance
seems like
of
he's
the
totally
nurse?
immune.
What does the nurse mean? The nurse is throwing me off. If the nurse wasn't there, I'd be just so cool with what you just said. But like, because that's obviously what's happening here. At least it's obviously what it seems like. But I feel like there's a missing thing here. That explains this and ties back to the aesthetic of the ability.
Transfusion magic.
Blood transfusion?
Not blood, just transfusion magic.
Oh,
Because now he's taking damage, but he's not taking damage. You're getting it. So all that stuff that's going to me is going to you.
Yeah.
That is the closest thing I could think of for that nurse.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I just wonder why it's represented with why that ability, the damage transfer, is represented by a nurse. I feel like there has to be more to it.
Transfusing blood, but transfusing damage.
Oh, just damage instead of just
but just so transfusing. So a nurse would be who assists you in transfusing things. Say,
okay, I like that.
That is the closest thing I could think of regarding this like angel doctor lady.
Yeah.
Right.
Now I wonder what.
Hard to say.
Yeah. Now I wonder what. I don't know if you guys still wanted to talk about Carpaccio, but I wanted to say I wonder what Nalcos is. Like, what was Nalcos going to be?
Right.
My deduction of that was it was probably like a sleeping spell because it's like a
narcotic.
Narcolepsy.
So like
narcolepsy.
Go to sleep.
Sure.
Yeah, like, and they mix words around. It's like it still has the same kind of root word right there in the incantation, but you can always kind of tell what that spell is going to be when they use it.
Sure. So if this is like narcolepsy, you're going to bed. Then like I feel like that confirms that this is a spell anyone can use, that anyone could like learn, and so was the last one, because those are changing places and putting people to sleep. It's like, how do those link together to make like an elemental affinity of a power or something? Like, how does that? How do those things tie together inside of your?
One of them definitely is a general ability. You would assume.
Yeah.
I mean, at least one of them. Yeah.
Yeah, we don't know what this is here. I totally agree with you, Schnooty. I think that probably is what he was trying to do. I like your the word root, stuff that you're saying to explain what this ability is without us seeing it. I agree with you there. So at least one of them is not Finn's personal magic, you would assume, because as you said, Nox, like there's no connection between transferring
changing places and putting
changing places sleep. And sleep, right? Yeah.
The way I took, like, now none of these could be Finn's spells. They could just all be spells he learned, and he could probably just be.
If there's spells you can learn in a book, though, then why is Carpaccio confused by the spell?
Because if you have your own specific kind of magic, why even bother with any other magic that you can just learn? It's just basic like level 1 spells.
But they're still in school though, so I mean, you'd think that you just naturally learn all of the shared spells just day to day.
But just because you're in school doesn't mean that you're paying attention.
Sure, that's not.
Or that you even care to retain the knowledge.
I feel that. Yeah.
That's a good question you raised though, Nox. Like now you're making me reconsider, and maybe this is definitely his magic, and maybe he is either wrong about it, or this is the reveal that we're gonna get for Finn's magic. Yeah.
They are from different dorms though, so like we could get exposition that like different dorms learn different things. Like,
have like a different curriculum.
Shared spells can even break, up by dorm. Like not every person in every dorm learns the same shared spells, but there are specific shared spells that some people know and others don't because of the dorm situation. Depending on what's taught, I don't know.
Yeah, and you could like become a master of these like level 1 spells, like what's his name? I don't remember his name, but the grand master of the entire school. He, Wahlberg. As far as we know, Wahlberg. He's only like a one-liner, but he's the headmaster, so he's obviously probably the strongest person on the campus. So like maybe what Finn might be trying to do is master all of these spells. So like on top of being like a master of all of this other shit, he could just master his own personal magic.
Sure.
Yeah, and maybe his personal magic, he's like afraid of it because of how devastating it is. So he tries to supplement, like he tries to like kind of hide it by and make up for it by having all of these like basic book learned spells, at really high efficiency, so that he doesn't have to bring out whatever the fuck he's got. That would be pretty epic too.
Yeah, because like look at his brother's magic. Like it's not necessarily destructive, but it's a bunch of swords. It's gonna hurt somebody.
Yeah.
And Finn doesn't really seem like a kid.
Looks like it creates Grand Canyon, so that's pretty devastating, at least if that moves.
So he's probably like seen all this, like, you know what? I don't really feel like damaging everything in sight. I'm just gonna hold back my own potential.
Yeah, and I don't think we've ever seen Now this doesn't have to be written in Mashle, but like we've kind of had a little bit of focus on the Rain or on the Ames family, right? Do we ever see anyone in the Ames family ever like making fun of Finn's timidness?
Nope. We the only time we ever got like a confirmation that like Finn even had family was when we got Rain.
Right. And then but we've seen like kind of like family related flashbacks inside of the Ames family, right? Like we've gotten a little bit of Finn and Rain like interacting in the past. I want to say, maybe I'm making it up, but I want to say that because we've had like so much focus on the Ames family, Finn is obviously being shown as a timid character to us, but it doesn't seem like anyone in his family that we've seen so far is addressing that. So if no one is really addressing that, then that makes me think of a really cool scene where Rain is like, oh, Carpaccio, oh, you thought you could kill my brother? Oh, no. Wait till my brother activates, bro. Like type shit, you know what I mean? Like I could totally see, like, don't underestimate the Ames family. Like my brother may seem like look timid, but like, no, I think that would just be the hypest way to reveal Finn's abilities is from a comment. Like you switch scenes and maybe someone says like, maybe they're in league with Carpaccio. Like Carpaccio is about to kill your brother or something. Like we're in league together. Like he's got your bro or something. He's like, oh, really? Well, sorry, buddy, because, and then boom, scene transition to Finn activating for the first time. I think that would be the tightest way to reveal his, at least right now. I think what will make it even tighter is like we get that same exposition, like, or at least that same like reaction from Rain. He's like, okay, yeah, don't worry. And then when Finn activates, is when Mashle is, when Mash is fighting Carpaccio. So I totally forgot that Mash saves him at the end here.
like Mash is getting fucked up. He's all damaged and bloody. He's about to like land a finishing blow or something. It's like Finn magic.
Ooh, to
save Mash or whatever, or to protect Mash.
To
No,
protect his
I would love
friends.
that.
Oh man. God,
I also love this. I also love this like little like we don't really get a lot, but I can't remember his name. The musician from the
Margaret.
Margaret. I love this little bit of exposition we get from Margaret while he's walking, just looking for whatever, just chilling, and just like, okay, yeah, we get all this shit. Like, okay, yeah, he's the strongest person, Carpaccio Lane or Luoyang.
Yeah.
Like, and now he's facing up against the weakest kid in the school.
I also love his,
he says Order Mate will cut him a deal. He's talking about Carpaccio, right?
Yeah, he's like,
wait, is Order if Order meets up with Rain, then we could totally have that scene that I just talked about.
Yes.
Yeah, like, sorry about your brother. I had to take a hit out on his friend.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it, cause he got it.
Don't underestimate the Ames family.
No, good shit.
Oh, I need it. Okay, sorry.
I need that specific phrase. Don't underestimate the Ames family.
Yes.
Yes. In this exposition, the bit I loved is Carpaccio is a prodigy chosen by a wand fit to be a national treasure, right? I bet the knife is his wand, right?
Ooh.
Like, he's definitely using it as part of his ritual. I feel like that'd be pretty sick if, like, he had some really weird wand that doesn't look like a wand, right?
Yeah.
It's like, it's a knife. It's a magic knife. You know what I mean? Like, ooh,
especially because it's a national treasure, so it's probably going to look different than
and it's
any other wand.
Yeah, it's got a transformation state or whatever, like we learned through Rain, right?
Oh,
so he could just be using it and it's transformed. But don't you have to be a third liner,
right.
three liner?
I'm not suggesting it is a transformed wand,
sure.
but it just by default looks like this. But I don't know. Who knows?
Okay, well, because
kind of hoping this means that Carpaccio is going to be a triple liner, because then that would give credence to the idea that Finn's going to activate to defend Mash.
Yeah, because we haven't seen Mash deal with a triple liner yet, or
not an actual triple liner,
a real triple lined situation.
Right.
Ooh.
Damn.
Wait a minute. Okay, so that would be really cool if the first time Mash can't deal with something, Finn does.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And if that also at the same time is a triple liner ability that Mash can't deal with, you know what I mean? Because then that gives a limit to Mash that he has to grow past, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which is something that I kind of want in this series. I don't know, maybe I don't know if I necessarily would say like it's necessary right now, but I mean Mash definitely does need a real obstacle, or maybe not like a real loss, But
just
like,
something that he can't handle.
Like,
He doesn't
yeah.
need to be Saitama with everything.
yeah,
Right.
yeah, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, and I think it would just be great if we got that limit for Mash and the Finn moment at the same. I feel like that would be huge for the series.
No, it'd be big. It'd be very big
Mhm.
for
It'd be
sure.
huge. And this entire chapter is great character growth since chapter 1 for Finn.
Yes.
Like I love it. Like I'm not gonna betray my friends. I'm doing all this because of them. I
Yeah.
can't let them down. Like, and even till his last fight, like last breath, he's just willing to fight.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Is so out of character from the Finn we got introduced to, and now he's just
Yeah.
he's like, I'm not really a fan of like the cowardly tropes, the cowardly characters within manga
Sure.
and anime and stuff. But like
Mhm.
Finn really is growing on me.
Yeah.
And especially with this chapter is huge for him, especially inside of like our conversations about Finn potentially being a traitor to some degree.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Seems
And,
even
like,
less likely now. You know what I mean?
Way less likely.
Way
now,
less
you know what I
likely.
mean? Like it's almost like an impossibility, I want to say
Right.
now. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
Yeah, I
Yeah,
might
this
just
is
pass that
massive.
to Dope.
yeah, no way. Oh man, that would be some shit too. But this last double spread is
Ooh.
like probably my favorite Mash, like drastic Mash feat, like double, because he always has last pages like these, you know what I mean?
Yes.
And we've seen a lot of really good ones, but I feel like this is the most dynamic, you know what I
Mhm.
mean? It's just from like the coolest angle,
Mhm.
the detail and the illustration techniques used on it, Mash's expression, everything. I think this is my favorite work of art in Mashle so far.
And
It's-
you could tell Mash is pissed too.
Oh, yeah.
Dude. Just and then with Finn in the background, like, "Bruh," it looks like Krillin getting saved
Yeah.
by Goku.
Yeah.
Goku.
yeah, with the Forrest Whitaker eye. Oh man.
Like even the shading around like Mash's face seems a lot, like, I don't want to say darker, but it adds a bit more intimidation to his whole
Yeah.
like personality.
And the
Yes.
comic book dot stipple shading, like all
Mhm.
in the foreground, like in the
Mhm.
hair of Carpaccio and like in the fingers of Mash, like all in that foreground there, just like really makes it all pop to me.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. The motion is captured like so well, like in the white strokes that are used, like in the
Mhm.
hair,
Oh yeah,
you know, like really, really drives home that speed.
it's like
Yeah.
they went with like plaid and then they just like stippled a little bit and then they erased all the color and then just like did a little bit more of their own shit.
Yeah. It's just, God, what a beautiful double spread.
Yeah. Looks
He
fantastic.
is gonna wake up with a banger of a headache though.
yeah. Okay. Oh, here's a cool question now. So this is the first time that we're seeing him like kind of take damage from someone else, right? So like, how does that work with
Oh.
his redirection kind of situation? Is it only damage that he does to himself, or is it just all damage in general? Or is there, you know, like
Sure.
what are the rules on that?
I'm hoping that it's like only damage that he does to himself, that
Yeah.
he has to use the
The
knife.
for,
Right.
yeah.
Right.
But it could be all damage, and that's why Finn has to step in.
Yeah.
I'm really subscribed to that Finn stepping in idea. I'm not letting that go. I'm not gonna hold you.
Yeah. Or what if I don't know how this works, but what if the damage redirection is a separate ability from the nurse, and the nurse just like, what if he really, well, no, I don't think he really is taking that damage and the nurse is just healing it.
Oh, sure. I see. what
Yeah,
you're saying.
because
Yeah.
there's like no, his shirt is fine. There's no,
Yeah,
like, you know what I
right.
mean, shit like that.
Yeah.
So just really still kind of raising my eyebrow on this nurse situation, bro. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because like what, okay, because like if it is a situation where I deal the damage to myself and you take that same damage, that's the ability, like that's
Mhm.
the trade-off. I have to take the damage too, and then I've counteracted that with this nurse that heals me in the
Right.
moment.
Right.
Then like that like makes me think, okay, like are there artifacts involved? You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Now
Like
we're going
different-
too far.
Yeah,
This
now
is
we're
not
going.
unluck.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a
exactly.
whole world of Mashle that we just haven't explored yet. That I can dive into that entirely, or just leave it alone for now.
I would
But-
love
Right.
for this dense, like all of this dense storytelling conceptually to revolve around a relatively simple system, just to find out that that's tip of the iceberg for concepts in MASH. I think that would be an
Yeah, same.
amazing
That'd be sick.
reveal, but I mean, like, there's nothing to base that on right now. I don't think
Right.
so. But yeah, I don't know. Are you guys good on Mashle though? I think I'm good. I think that's it.
Yeah,
I'm
great
good on
chapter.
Mashle. Go Finn.
Cool. Yeah, Ko-Fin, dude. Fuck yeah. All right, getting into My Hero Academia, chapter 303, top 3.
303, top 3.
Yes, how do we
303.
feel?
This was a good chapter. I really liked this.
Yeah.
Chapter. It was like it showed the relation between like Hawks and the entire Todoroki family, and like how really Best Jeanist kind of handled everything. Also give exposition into like what's happening with Deku. So that's good.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of good exposition in this chapter, like kind of like just re-solidifying the kind of state of the world, you know what I mean? And like kind of like tying together some loose ends. They mention that some core members of the Public Safety Commission are dead or in the hospital, and I think that's like a direct reference to that Redestro scene, right? There's that scene of like Redestro's clone, and they were in this building, and like that this lady was like hurt or whatever, and like he was talking to the Public Safety Commission, and it's like that was maybe the scene where he injured or maybe even killed some of the Public Safety Commission that they were coming to like do some business deal, and he's like, oh great, perfect timing, I'm gonna kill you or hurt you, right? But just stuff like that where like I feel like it's the exposition's kind of like more building slowly. It's not really as much as I want, you know what I mean? But like we're getting more about the world, the current state of the world as it is now.
Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's not too much and it's not too little. It's just like I do want more, and you're giving it to us at a fantastic pace, but I just want more.
Right.
I love this chapter because of just the comfortability that I feel inside of this these top three heroes that we kind of have here, right? Because they make a comment. It's like, hey man, it's hell outside. It's crazy. All of this shit happened 2 days after the war. You know what I mean? Like I was like my headcanon for like what the aftermath of the Tartarus breakouts and like just like what the hero community was going to look like afterwards was just so much different than what we're seeing here. This is a very cool, calm, collected, optimistic Hawks Jeanist, in this situation, while everything is literally the worst situation the world has ever seen outside. You know what I mean? And like that is cool to me because it's like, yeah, you should be panicking right now, or not, maybe not you should be panicking, but just like they're so mature and they're so experienced, and they know that this situation right now that they need information for, they're trying to they're trying to be comforting while also getting down to business and getting the information that they need to make moves and go forward. I just love that, like, outside of combat, you can see things that make these characters worthy of their positions in this story in like such like well-written personal ways. You know what I mean? You have Endeavor, who is the very serious top hero, serious through and through. Then you have Hawks, who's the very sarcastic but serious, hero. Then you have Best Jeanist, which is on the gaggier side, like, you know what I mean? But it's still, they're all, you can trust them. You have confidence in them despite their ways of helping people cope and not wanting to bring the mood down and keeping spirits high. It's just like, these are skills and character traits that I feel like enhance, these characters tremendously for me. You know what I mean?
Yes. They come in, they handle this exactly like how a hero should. Like, they don't panic. They don't like throw anything like, hey, you got to get out of this hospital right now. We need the #1 hero. No, this is the state of the world. We're preparing you. You're not allowed to be out of the hospital yet, so just get ready.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. It just feels really good. You know what I mean? And for what I was expecting, like, I think that the personal subversion for me, I don't know if everybody was led down the same, alley that I was, but like it just hit so hard. You know what I mean? And this is obviously Kohei's bag, and these downtimes are kind of what I look forward to them. Like, obviously you need the big action to set up these downtimes, but like I feel like as crazy as My Hero can get in all the ways that it can get crazy, it's chapters like these that I look forward to the most. I feel like in Hero by and large.
For sure.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely, I could feel that.
But yeah, man, and then Hawks like kind of, relating with Shoto in regard to their parents. You know what I mean? It's like, man, I kind of just threw my parents to the wayside. You stuck through, and you want to see this, come to a positive end. Yeah, like you're a class act, bro. Kid. Yeah, I was like, damn, that's hit.
Nice. Yeah, that does hit. That hits hard. And I love seeing. And I can't remember Todoroki's mom's name. Ray. But like seeing her like bow in front of Hawks, like, hey, thank you for helping my husband. Thank you for helping my family. Just can't thank you enough. And he was like, oh, no, chill. I don't need that. We don't do that here.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Yeah, man, they're just so positive, so encouraging. But still, I feel like with Hawks' character, you just can't take anything he says at face value. Obviously, he's just shown too much in the history of his character to where even when things, we know he's good, we know he's good, you know what I mean, but for some reason this page here where he's like, even if what Dabi says about the Todoroki family is true, I know things are different now. You know what I mean? And I'm going to lend my full support to anyone trying to be better. Amazing quote there. You know what I mean? That's what we want. But like his expression there, while it's trying to be encouraging, like, hey, I got a smile on my face, so you should have a smile on your face too. He's the kind of character that, in my experience with the genre, hides things behind expressions like these. You know what I mean? And just with the chess moves that he was playing leading up to the Paranormal Liberation Front War, and seeing how like business mode he is behind these, you know, behind these expressions that he's making even in this chapter. It's like he clearly has a goal. Hey man, trying to hype you up, pat you on the back, we're gonna do this, man, don't worry, but like I need answers to these questions, you know what I mean? And it's like, what is he really on, you know what I mean? And I'm not saying that he's going to defect in any kind of way, but I think that we just don't know everything. Or
I mean, if his
can't defect if you've never really been on the team.
Sure. That's a good point too.
I was gonna say, like, I don't know, like, how deeply invested he is with like the I don't know what the Public Safety Commission or whatever, this kind of like governmental body that like raised him as a child to be a hero, right? Like are they kind of like a secret agent, like CIA kind of operation, you know what I mean? Like
Shield.
kind of like kind of like not in the public eye of the government, but like a kind of like a back room deals kind of part of the government. Is he trying to get information about All for One for them so that they can control All for One, right? Because obviously All for One in the All Might path has been a kind of separate force that's like for good against All for One, you know what I mean? Like trying to do its own thing, not ran by the government. But what if the government wants control of it? Maybe they're starting to learn of it and wanting just a piece of the action kind of stuff. I don't know.
That's a big question, because you never know, because like we know that this clandestine, you know, governmental body that Hawks, you know, was trained through has little to no exposition tied to it. You know what I mean? And we know how society kind of operates in My Hero Academia and how like fucked up it kind of is inside of like the way that the Tartarus guards were talking, and just a lot of things over the life of the series that kind of, you know, is now making me think that everything stems from this secret governmental organization that, you know, trained Hawks the way that they did. You know what I mean? What if all of the, you know, negativity in this series is born from, you know, a calculated, you know, plan inside of this organization? I think that would be crazy to find out, you know what I mean? And if that's the real final boss of My Hero Academia, then like
I can't even like say that I disagree with that, because like just look at how like any government really acts. Like even like even the deeper parts. Like if you want to call it like a conspiracy or anything, there's always deeper, darker shit that's being moved behind the scenes.
Yes.
And like we kind of get like, I don't want to say like foreshadowing into them with these silhouettes of these heroes, but like they definitely have a plan. Like, because obviously heroes make up a good part with the economy, because everybody has superpowers. Everybody wants to be a part of somebody, be a sidekick or a professional hero. So like they could take that. Okay, what's one for all? We got one for all, and now we can completely control the balance of heroes and villains within the society.
Yeah. Wow. And I don't know if this is just an idea that I have because like I've read way too many cyberpunk stories, but like I just like see things like leading towards like it feels really good that this is just how society is, and this is how society was always going to kind of go in regards to like selfish heroes and the way that the system is set up to keep people from defending themselves with their own powers by law. You know what I mean? I can just see all of those things coming back. Like it feels like that's just how it happened. But what if it's tailored this way on purpose to create a certain kind of society? You know what I mean? That is easily manipulated and easily this and that. And it's just one big, you know, whatever you want to call it. You know what I mean? And if it does turn into that in My Hero Academia, and the society was cultivated by a person or a group of people, I think that would be one of like the wildest routes for the story to take, in my because we know that there's going to be a societal reform, and that can come in a couple of different ways, either because you took down the governmental body that orchestrated the entire thing, or you just wake the people up through words and actions and and everything. I don't know what hits harder. I feel like that second situation feels better for like Deku's character, and there's the story of My Hero Academia with the revolution coming through, a new symbol of peace, being apparent in Deku's character and not just appointed because you reach the rank of number one hero, like a legitimate paradigm shift in societal outlook because of the actions of Deku. I think that makes a lot more sense. But if it really is just a door you knock on and you find the guys responsible and you take them out and then laws are rewritten, I don't know. I mean, obviously it would be more grandiose than that if it was like that. But I just think it feels better for the latter situation. But still a cool thing to think about, though.
Yeah, I can definitely see that happening because, like, after everybody got powers, they put all these rules in place so you can use your powers somewhat freely, but then we also put rules on it. But now that the hero society has crumbled, villains are starting to rise, and now we could bring heroes back, but now we could put harder stipulations and rules on these heroes so that like this doesn't happen, or that like certain things can happen, so that we can still manipulate everything, and that'll be a thing in My Hero Shippuden.
Because if you think about it, it's like that is kind of the way that that's the scariest situation, is the laws that you are used to, you are certain are there to protect you, and they make sense on paper. Yeah, the heroes are trained, you know what I mean? They have licenses. This is the safest option, to just let trained, licensed people protect you instead of just using your abilities yourself. But the psychological ramifications of limiting people's ability to do anything over large amounts of time will affect society in various ways, especially if that security that was erected
falls to the wayside.
Exactly, you know what I mean? So it feels like everything is in place for all of the negative aspects of society to have been tailored by an overseer, organization of some kind. It feels really good there. But
that'd be wild.
That would be great.
Yeah, but okay, and now another thing. So one for all, what is it exactly? You know what I mean? Endeavor doesn't know. I think the first time he heard the words "one for all" was when he was fighting Shigaraki, and then we get that flashback where he's like, "One for all," you know what I mean? But then, so like when he asked the question, to Endeavor, he's like, "Oh yeah, that's right," but then he instantly ties it back to Deku.
Yeah.
Which is like a big deal, because now, like, I feel like Endeavor knows specifically what one for all is, just because the question was asked to him, and like he didn't know before, but now that the question was asked, he's like, tink, 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 putting like all of the dots together. Like
it just triggered his memory of like, oh wait, like you mean Deku? I see how the dots were connected for sure. Yeah.
One for all. Shigaraki's after Deku. Deku's like, yo,
Shigaraki's probably after me.
Deku and One for All are related. That's a crazy way for Endeavor to kind of get that information, you know what I mean? Because it's like,
it's not he just like One for All. Just like
Deku. I was thinking about Endeavor getting this information, like, while he was still kind of on his meathead, like, I want to be number one, like, hero type shit, and like what that confrontation would be like for Endeavor to find out that Deku is literally All Might, you know what I mean? Like, I thought, but now that Endeavor is putting this together after everything that's happened with his family and the Shigaraki fight and all of this stuff, now I'm like, damn, I kind of had all this headcanon for this moment, and it's like coming in the completely opposite situation. Like, how do you guys think Endeavor feels about that situation now, as opposed to?
I was literally just thinking about that as you were saying this, right? But like, I don't think he fully comprehends what All for One is, right? I think all Endeavor knows right now is that Deku is directly related in some way to the concept known as All for One, right? But I do think it's a good question, like, when they eventually go and talk to All Might and be like, yo, it's time, we need some answers, right? If All Might literally told Endeavor, like, hey, for my ability that got me to the number one spot, that's not really my ability. It's a passed on ability, and I have the ability combined of several people, and that's why I've always been better than you your entire life, and you suck, and you're number 2, and you'll always be number 2 after me. Wouldn't that make you angry?
Yeah, exactly. Like that's gotta be like, because Endeavor is sitting here training his ass off, and All Might deserves his power. You know what I mean? Like, don't get me wrong.
Yes.
All Might deserves his power, but in Endeavor's eyes,
right,
getting information like that, I don't know, 2 years ago, would probably have Endeavor you know what I mean? Like, it's a completely different reaction. Yeah, it's a completely different reaction because I can see Endeavor going like, I put all this blood, sweat, and tears thinking that the person above me got there with the same method I'm using.
Yeah, hard work. Right?
Yeah, you know what I mean? But no, it was a gift just passed down to you like later on in your life, you know what I mean? That
right.
And you're this much better than me because of that. Like I could see him reacting in such a specific way.
Right.
The Endeavor of 2 years ago, but now this is a completely different Endeavor, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, this will be the test, right?
Yeah.
Because you could also say that Endeavor could be like, wow, not only have I been working so hard my entire life, I basically destroyed my own family to try and make someone stronger than you, and it's been a fool's errand this entire time.
And a warped perspective on the situation the entire time, you know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Think of everything that's wound, going. Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say the wound is it's not even healed yet.
Yeah.
And this information might rip it right open. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I see this going maybe one of two ways.
Mm-hmm.
Well, at least in two different for two different reasons. But this is either going to piss Endeavor off back to where he was, or we're going to get, I see, and that's just going to be it because he's going to understand okay.
Right.
Well, that makes sense. I'm a lot more level-headed now. I'm a lot cooler. I have a lot calmer head. That sucks, but I can't do anything about it. I already did what I did. We got to move on. But I can also see this splitting the Todoroki family again.
Yeah.
Because now there's a lot more stakes. This isn't just my family. This is literally the entire world.
Right.
Deku has his power. This is also Shoto's friend.
Right.
And we can either hand it to the government, and then they'll just do whatever they need with him, or we can let him do whatever, and then they can do whatever the fuck they need to do with him as well.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Either way, I can see Natsu agreeing with Hawk saying you need to go to the government, and then maybe Rei's probably going to be undecided, Endeavor might be undecided, and then obviously Shoto's going to be on Deku's side because that's his buddy.
Right.
But I don't know what Todoroki's sister is going to think. She's probably going to agree with Natsu if anything, but this little bit of information impacts the Todoroki family so greatly that I don't think that anybody would have even imagined that aside from All Might being the star that Endeavor wants to reach, the idea of One for All itself could just shatter their entire family's dynamic that they just got fixed right now.
And that is a possibility. That's scary to think about because yes, Endeavor just got all of this progress, you know what I mean? And the moment of Endeavor realizing the connection between All Might and Deku power-wise is a point in the story that a lot of people have been waiting for, you know what I mean? That is something that we always knew was going to come to the light, and we knew that Endeavor was the one reaction we wanted from that information going public. And now his circumstances are entirely different. So all of the reason why we have that excitement for when Endeavor figures out this information is because he was the kind of person that he was back then. You know what I mean? He was the try-hard, I need to beat All Might no matter what kind of character. So we're thinking, oh man, when he finds out about One for All, it's going to be lit. But now, he's way different. So that's what makes me think this information is going to trigger him back to his old ways in some kind of way, which I really don't want. I think that would be fucked up. I mean, you know what I mean? Just thinking about it, obviously Kohei could probably write the shit out of that, you know what I mean? But now I think that that's regressive, you know what I mean? So I don't know if I want that, but that is something wild to think about.
As soon as Endeavor hears, oh yeah, I've had this quirk forever, we just pass it on from person to person. The second he hears that, Endeavor just right to
oh my!
Right hook straight to right to Rei's face.
No, don't say it. No, Oh no, I can't see that.
I can't. Oh my god, he's come too far.
My
to just
heart
go
will
back that
literally
far.
shatter into a million pieces if it's
Like-
that quick of a snap. Oh my god, no.
And what you were saying before about how Hawks is like kind of suspicious in this chapter.
Are you? I think you're
he's-
gonna say exactly what I was just about to bring up.
What if
yeah.
he instigates? You know what I mean? Like what if
Oh.
he's like, don't you think this is because he's so pro Endeavor? You know what I
Yes.
mean? Endeavor
Yes,
is the
he's
hero
mega
that
pro
made
Endeavor.
him want to be a hero, that saved him as a boy and his mental outlook as a boy, right? So he really likes Endeavor. What if he tries to instigate and make Endeavor,
go back to his ways?
Back to his ways,
because
right?
he needs that kind of Endeavor's attitude because
Right,
it helps
right.
his strength, and they
Right.
need real like 100% Endeavor. They need
Right.
as Endeavor as he can be for the problems that they're facing right now. So I can
Right, like
totally
you're okay with this?
see that.
This
yeah.
kid
Right.
having all this power when
Yeah,
you worked
light
your
that
entire
fire
life?
back under him. Yeah. Oh no.
What were you gonna say?
Well,
Knox?
I was going to say because what you said earlier in the segment, you were like
Yeah.
about the government or
Yeah.
the governmental organization that brought Hawks about. He could be inquiring on this information for them, and not for the statement that like maybe he's hiding his inquisition behind. I got a statement for you, but first I need to find out about One For All. How does One For All's information correlate to
matter?
the statement that he
Yeah.
would help make for the Todoroki family?
Yeah.
Like I feel like that was just a lie, and he just
Well-
wants that information, and he's trying to hide it behind "I'm trying to help you out" type shit.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Now, I will say that I do think there is one reason why you'd want to know this, right?
Before giving the Todoroki family statement.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is that you want to frame this entire situation as, for the record, there's a bad guy named All For One, and he is the whole reason all of this happened. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
And yes, it's shitty what this family did, but we
They
have
were
to
being
look
manipulated
past
by
this.
All For One in some way. Yeah.
And we have to go after All For One, right?
Yeah.
But then it is still weird to me to be like, what is then the reason you needed to know One For All, right?
Yeah.
Other than to be like, there's a hope or something. But I feel like the reason when I first thought was like to pin the blame on All For One.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that feels really good. That feels really good. But I mean, you never know with this man.
You never know.
Man.
So how about
like,
Deku? Oh,
Yeah.
sorry. Go ahead, Trinity.
Oh yeah. What?
like,
Yeah.
It was just that like with him like asking about One For All, it's like Deku did use the private line, so I'm pretty sure more than just Endeavor heard.
Yes.
I have One For All. Shigaraki's coming for me. He's a descendant, or
Well-
he's like.
He didn't say I have All For One.
He didn't
Or
say
One
I have
For
One
All.
For All. Yeah, he did
He-
not say.
he said-
that Shigaraki's definitely coming after me.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I thought he said like I have this thing called One For All because like because Shigaraki was talking about like One For All. He was like,
Yeah.
yeah, Shiggy's coming for me. Don't worry about everything. Don't worry about the specifics. Just
Right. It was separated
work.
information. It was
Yeah.
Endeavor versus Shigaraki, and Shigaraki said, "Give me One For All," because
Yeah,
I think
in person.
Yeah, I think because while he was fighting Endeavor, like Shigaraki was like kind of like feeling Deku in that moment,
Yeah,
and I think
the
Shigaraki
radar
was,
or the search
Yeah, I think
quirk
Shigaraki
or
was
whatever.
talking to Deku, even though he was face to face with Endeavor, and those words just came out like while he's boxing Endeavor, like "Give me One For All," you know what I'm saying, like type
Right,
shit.
right.
And so Endeavor heard that and was like "One For All," and then
Right.
later Deku was
Yep.
like "Shigaraki's coming after me, bro." And then he just
Yes,
put it
yes,
together
yes,
that One
yes.
For All and Deku are related.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you. That kind of fuzzy. That was kind of fuzzy in my memory.
Yeah,
but
I think that's how.
yeah.
But speaking of Deku,
Yeah.
yeah, this bit at the end, very, very interesting, huh?
Right now, you must be talking with the predecessors. So, are we gonna get a whole Deku predecessor space like conversation chapter?
I think he's going to talk to, if anybody, Nana at the least.
Yeah.
But like,
If
I
they're
think
all
we
just
might
around
get
a
like,
round table, just chilling.
He's like, all right.
Everyone talking.
here's what happened, why it happened, and how it happened.
Here's literally everything. That would be a massive chapter, bro.
Amazing.
Another option, and I don't think this is incredibly likely, but I kind of like the idea that All Might is kind of, he's saying, I feel it. I feel the version of me dwelling inside the boy, inside One For All. I want to, I think you could say is like, it's wishful thinking.
Yeah.
Deku's actually in a coma, straight up coma. There's no talk with the predecessors going on. All Might is praying at the bedside, like he wants to believe it's true, and it's not gonna happen,
Oh,
right?
no,
And then
that'd be
boom,
so
then that
devastating.
leads into like a time skip of like he's still asleep, time skip. You know what I mean, kind of thing.
Or he's still asleep. He's definitely in a coma, and there is a 6-month time skip. But he's talking with the predecessors the whole time,
the
doing
entire
mental
time.
image training of the quirks he's going to come out of his coma with. Wait a minute.
Damn.
Like, well, if your physical body's gonna be out for so long, we might as well talk to you about how all of these quirks work for 6 months. You know what I mean? If you're gonna be here the whole time, like fuck it.
You're not going nowhere.
Yeah, yo.
He's so tight.
I would like for Deku to stay in like a coma in the hospital for a prolonged period of time, let everybody else catch up.
Yeah.
I do feel like he is like I feel like Toshinori or All Might can feel that he's talking.
Yeah, I did want to say that I don't think he says that without that being like true, that he does that he does actually feel his consciousness in the predecessor space. You know
because
what I mean?
of what we got from All For One and Shigaraki, where like even though All For One was awake and he could control Shigaraki, like he still knew what was going on, and it was like a split kind of consciousness situation.
Sure. No, yeah, and like I said, very unlikely theory.
Yeah, that was just like a potential dark turn for it. Yeah,
super
like,
dark. It'd be a very dark.
Oh,
turn,
that would, dude, I would.
I would love that though.
Yeah. I love this
Just like-
panel of Ochako, like unworried with no background.
do.
I love that drawing of her.
I love that we like as little as we get the rest of Team 1A, we see Mineta and Sugar Rush and Froppy just like carrying away Bakugo. Just like, all right, we got him. Don't worry about it. Just stay there.
Yeah.
Just do your thing. That's it. That's all you have to do.
Yeah, and this like whole like, damn it, freaking Deku, why'd you get to snooze when I'm awake? Blah blah. Like it's so like Kuwabara and Yusuke vibes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Who said that you could go to sleep?
Yeah, who said you could die on me before I beat your ass? You're Meshi, like type shit. You know what I mean? And I just love that dynamic now of it feeling a lot more like an equal, footing with still the banter there instead of like Bakugo like actually feeling like he doesn't fuck with Deku at all while saying shit like this. It's just a way better situation. Those kind of growth moments I appreciate. They're very subtle. Kohei is a very talented character writer, dude. Like the Ochako panel again, very subtle like character work for the Deku and Ochako ship. You know what I mean? You just get it very short, concentrated bursts like this. It's not very heavily focused on all the time. But then when this does eventually like culminate into whatever it's building towards, we're gonna really appreciate the very subtle build up to it rather than the in your face we're a couple throughout the entire series type shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like I was just in love with Deku because he's the main character. No, like there's actual like build up of their like
realistic, subtle, slow build up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's not like, okay, you saved me, I love you. No, it's just like we've been in this classroom forever. We get to know each other. We're actually friends. I'm genuinely worried about you. There's feelings here.
Yes.
Right.
Very well said.
I love it.
Hell yeah, dude. Are we good on?
Horikoshi really writes his ass off.
What'd you say?
I was just saying Horikoshi really writes his ass off.
Man. It's such a sight to behold like every week because it's like all these stories are so different in their own way while still just being action stories. You know what I mean? And it's so I just appreciate Jump for the diversity. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
Hell yeah. But are we good on? Are we good on My Hero?
Yeah, I'm good on My Hero.
All right. Awesome. Okay. Getting into the piece de resistance. One Piece, chapter 1005, Demon Child caught a curry on the cover with the kitties.
Making me want some donuts.
I really did want me. To be honest, I really did want some donuts and milk after I saw this.
One Piece donuts hit different, man. They just look like the contrast just makes it look like I'm looking into the galaxy, into the cosmos. I just want that galaxy donut in my mouth.
Yeah.
God, and it makes me, man, I miss Katakuri's design. See, that was such a banger of a design. I miss him in the story.
Same. I thought he had like a backpack on in this, but for a second, but it's really just a tree in the background. I thought he left Whole Cake Island. I was like, oh shit!
Look at this tree though. Like this tree is drawn incredible. Really well. God, Oda's so good at landscapes and environments and backgrounds.
Yes.
Oh, look at these kitties. Oh, and a little doggo. I didn't see the doggo.
Yeah,
little doggo
eating a donut. Eating a donut hole or something.
That's definitely chocolate. He's not gonna live to see the next chapter.
Oh no, Snooty!
Why'd
you ruin the cover? What the hell? All right, let's get into the chapter then. Thanks, Snooty. Oh,
You're welcome. You're welcome.
man. Okay,
I'm a comedian. I'm here all week.
So the big point here, Sanji, huh? How do we feel about Sanji in this chapter?
I'm fine with Sanji.
I love this chapter so much for everything that it does.
Same.
And it's so disappointing seeing the reception that this chapter has gotten, you know, on Twitter and things like that. And I don't know. I think it's just not looking at characters inside of a vacuum, which is what the criticism kind of feels like for Sanji. I know that they're kind of like using his history of being in this situation as like, you know,
Evidence or whatever.
evidence or ammunition
sure.
to reinforce their point or whatever. But honestly, man, like I'm not, me personally, like I understand that people have Sanji as their favorite character. He's a fighter. He deserves to be, you know, up there, you know, on the roof or whatever, or at least doing something other than this. But I mean, like, as at least me personally, yes, I love Sanji. I want him to do something amazing, and I know he's going to. You know what I mean? And like seeing him in a situation like this, I think is par for the course. It's not something I feel like needs to be changed about his character. You know what I mean? Like I think that this is like sure, yeah, this is humiliating. He looks shitty. He doesn't seem to be embarrassed at all by this. So I mean, like the Straw Hats aren't embarrassed. You know what I mean? Like yeah, other like crews are talking shit about him and it's not a good look or whatever, but like it's
this
a
is
story,
Sanji.
Man. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
Oda's telling a story here, and I don't think that this character trait is something that we should keep being upset with Oda for. Sanji's going to get his moments. Yes, you want them to be right now. Yes, you think that this is redundant, but at the same time, it's like if you just like stop expecting Sanji to be Zoro and Luffy, like then I feel like this won't hurt as much. You know, to just wait for him to have the amazing moment you know he's going to have. Too bad he can't have it while everyone else is having theirs. But like you know how this shit goes, man, and like people are totally entitled to their opinions and they cannot like this, but it hurts me, you know, because I see this as, man, when Sanji comes back from this, it's gonna be crazy. You know what I mean? I'm just looking forward to his moment. You know,
and it's not like I don't understand this moment for Sanji at all, but it's well within his character over the past 1,000 chapters that we've like been in One Piece. Sanji does not hit women. You can't expect him to just turn up in Wano like, okay, yeah, fuck these bitches. Like, no, that's just not his. That's not his style. That's not his thing.
And sure, Oda could just not write him in this situation, but I mean, it's done for a purpose. It's different than Khalifa. It's different than Viola, even though there's a lot of similarities there still. But I mean, like, it's a character trait, so there's going to be similarities when you show a character doing the things they're known for. You're going to see it. Like, you just don't want to see it anymore. So you're trying to say it's bad writing.
Right.
But it's just because you want something else and you're not getting it. So just be real about it. You know what I mean?
In that sense, what I like about this, like, you know, obviously, yes, it is maybe embarrassing and all these other crew people outside the crew are you know, commenting on Sanji's behavior, right? Yeah. But the only interaction I really care about here is Sanji and Robin, right? And Sanji said last chapter, like, underestimate Nico Robin at your peril, right? And Black Maria's like, call her here. And he's like, yeah, I'm gonna call her here and she's gonna kick your ass, okay? And she comes, she rolls up. Black Maria's like, what the fuck? How are you able to teleport around here, right? Feats for Robin. And then Robin literally says, like, thank you for relying on me for help. I appreciate it. I love
that panel.
Yeah. What's wrong with the situation, right? Like I want to see Robin come in here and beat the shit out of someone, right?
Exactly. I want to see Robin activate.
This is teamwork.
I think the biggest thing is that Robin has been kind of in the shadows all you know, New World, you know what I mean? And people have been complaining about that. And I think people's issue is that you shouldn't have to downplay Sanji to build up Robin. And it's like, this is all par for the course for the dynamic on the ship and the relationship of the characters involved. If you want progression inside of Sanji, you know, in a way to where he's not in these situations anymore. But like, honestly, like Sanji gets his moments. Robin doesn't.
Yeah. Sanji already fought Page 1.
Yeah.
And he already like freed Momonosuke. Like he's almost, I don't want to say he's done enough, but he's done enough for right now. Like he doesn't really need to do too much to be a relevant character, even though he already is.
Yeah. And this is not his growth arc. You know, Whole Cake was his growth arc. He grew tremendously in Whole Cake. And this is not his arc, right? So I don't know, like, I don't know. I guess I understand like wanting him to grow out of this particular personality trait.
Yeah.
But I don't think we're going to, right?
This is just as natural as Zoro getting lost, Usopp being scared, like,
or Frankie being hard boiled. You know what I mean? Like,
it's just it's par for the course, man. And it's like feel the way you want about it, but I mean, it's not like this is betraying Oda's storytelling,
right,
or anything like that. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
falls
this is
entirely within Oda's like writing.
Exactly. So, but yeah,
going earlier to page 4.
Yeah.
I actually really like this scene where, you know, Black Maria is just like obliterating Sanji, right, tied up in this web or whatever, and the ladies, her attendants or whatever, right, her teammates are like, oh, I'm gonna cry. I see what he's doing. He's going to refuse to expose his companion to danger. If he weren't an enemy, I might just fall in love, right? Like, it's like, it's campy, but like I thought that was really funny, and like I don't know, like I liked it.
It's really funny, you know, and people need to
really
remember
funny.
that One Piece is a fucking comedy. You know what I mean? And Sanji is a vehicle for a lot of that. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So
yes.
I don't know. Just wait for his moment. He's gonna have it, and it's gonna be amazing.
I know this had to feel brutal though. Like as soon as Black Maria put on the brass knuckles and then starts pounding him against the web, because I know it's slinging him back.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I know he's catching a lot more force.
Oh yeah, the inertia. Oh no, I didn't even think about that. Ouch, dude.
That's gotta hurt.
I like the line of
then,
dialogue where he's like, "Hey man, like, don't put those brass knuckles on, because that's gonna hurt a lot. Because my armament hockey isn't going to go, because it's woven into my subconscious to not hurt women. So if my armament hockey activates, it could hurt you, so it's not going to." You know what I mean?
I loved that.
Yeah,
I actually love
that.
where it's like, my armament hockey is going to be soft because I wouldn't want my hockey to hurt your hand punching me. It's like that. I did not even expect that to be a thing, but it makes total sense and it's hilarious.
Yes.
I also didn't notice this before, but Black Maria has a smile. She doesn't have a regular zone fruit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So would that make her like the only one of the Tobiropo that has a smile?
Oh. I guess I didn't really think about that. I think that, yeah, wow.
Oh, that does remind me though. Like, interesting exposition in this chapter, right? Where Jack is running towards the Akazaya, and he is saying like, don't even bother going anyway, because the Akazaya are all stronger than the Tobiropo.
Yeah, that was really cool.
I did not
Great.
expect that at all.
Yeah.
Wild.
Yeah, very wild. That is like such a cool thing to hear for the Scabbards.
I honestly didn't think they were that strong until like Jack came in and said like, yeah, no, don't even try fighting them. You're gonna get swacked.
Hell yeah, that's a cool thing to hear from Jack too. And I knew Jack wasn't done in this arc, by the way. So
I was gonna say, like,
I just wanted to throw that out
you
there.
called this earlier. You and Kiko were like, definitely like back at that time.
Right.
I personally was fine with what we got, but y'all were like, no, we need more. We need to finish this fight on screen, and we're gonna finish it apparently.
Right, and it just goes back to, like, I understood, you know, the anxiety behind it. You know, like, Oda's trying to get this story done. He off screens a bunch of fights, blah 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 blah. But like, you just don't off screen the conclusion of something that you clearly cared so much about to build up to the point that you did. Like, it's Oda, dude. Like, come on.
Yep.
And that makes me think that Kanjuro isn't done. That makes me think that Orochi isn't done, you know what I mean? Because this is what Oda does, you know what I mean? He takes characters out for a while and then brings them back dramatically and theatrically to get actually dealt with later, you know what I mean? The first time a character goes down, especially early in conflict, it's like Apu's already back up and running around, you know what I mean? So it's it's like we're going to see all types of shit like this throughout this, you know what I mean? And I think that that's good for Oda's pacing and storytelling and the way that he kind of goes about it, because he handles stakes a lot differently inside of combat conflicts, and he handles it in this way, because why build up an epic defeat of a character early on, you know, for shock value or whatever, when Oda's a genius writer and he could just write that character back after getting knocked out 10 chapters later and it'll be fucking epic as shit, you know what I mean? Like, I like that a lot more, you know, than just like Zoro one shot Apu, you know, fucking they off, like, it just doesn't, I don't know. Anyway. But
another thing I loved in this chapter is when Robin, you know, eventually pulls up on Black Maria, gives her the spank. But I love this line on page 11, right? I spent a lot of time working in evil organizations, and when someone does horrible things to my friends, the demon part of me starts to emerge. I'm like, oh my god.
Like we
Ridiculous.
forgot that like she is like really about her shit, like underneath the character that we've gotten post time skip. Like she is still the Robin we met. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
but
like,
Robin is a goon. Baby.
Yes.
She is not just an archaeologist. Robin is a goon.
Yes.
Like you can't work under Crocodile for all that time and not be especially being his like right hand woman. Like
especially with her involvement like in the CP9 and just running from evil organizations her whole life. You know what I mean? Like it's this line of dialogue was everything. This is a love letter to Nico Robin fans, and it is long deserved, and I feel like it was everything it needed to be, and then some. And then we're still going to get the actual fight thereafter, and it's just gonna be so good.
Amazing.
So good.
Yes.
Brooke is just always good whenever he's on screen. You never have to say
I love that Brooke even showed up.
I love that. But I mean like I love how Oda incorporates Brooke's abilities in these very hard counter kind of, like he's a hard counter to a lot of characters. He comes in to make quick work of the thing that was so problematic before he showed up, and like that's how you do Brooke's character if you're not going to put him on screen as often as others. You know what I mean? When he does come in, make it potent, make it make sense, make it badass, and then do whatever else you're going to do with him. But like this is what I'm talking about. Brooke probably has like some of the least screen time on the Straw Hat crew, but look at his last kind of big moments. Hard bodying Big Mom solo, cutting Zeus in half, saving Sanji and making these webs ineffective. You know what I mean? Like every time Brooke does something, it's like deeply impactful. You know what I mean? And that's just Oda, man.
You love to see it.
You love to fucking see it.
You
bro.
really do love to see it.
And
I also love this little comedy panel on the bottom where like, oh, watch out, I froze the floor.
Yeah.
And he just slips in and busts his ass.
And the very last panel, right, where like Black Maria like throws down her top, right? She's like all badass, ready to snap, and then Brooke in the bottom right, like,
hey, turn around for me real quick.
Panties.
Man, this is way beyond his expectations. This is whole booby. This is a little bit higher than panties here. He's lit right now.
Entire titty.
Yeah. I love the Yamato Shinobu coming back to Yamato Shinobu and Momonosuke. Forgot about them for a second. Really hope we get a little bit more focus on them, because I just need more Yamato in my life.
I need that Yamato transformation so bad.
I was thinking about that this whole chat. As soon as I saw Yamato, like, we're gonna get that transformation. Is he gonna go up to, or is he gonna go up to the top?
Yeah.
Like, I have no idea what's gonna happen, but I want more Yamato.
Yes. I just love how well Oda is able to control chaos that he creates in these in these wars. You know what I mean? It's like it's so different than any other wars that I've experienced in manga storytelling, but it feels so war-y. You know what I mean?
It's like it's chaotic. He doesn't stay too long in like one place. He makes sure everything has its balance. He does it amazingly.
Wild.
So
I
what
also
the heck
really
is this?
love. Oh, go for it.
I was like, what the heck is this weapon Black Maria has?
There was some exposition for it in like the translator notes of the scans. I don't remember what it said off the top of my head. God.
Sure.
But
useless.
I know. Oh my God. I totally said I was gonna bring it up too.
It just looks so intense. Like it's flaming.
Yes.
There's like a face on it. Is that face alive? Is this like a devil fruit?
Here we go.
A weapon that ate a devil fruit? Yeah. What does it say?
Yep, I got you. Deleted by the original poster.
Wow.
Yeah. I thought it was there. No, it was on Reddit, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know what this weapon is, but I do love Black Maria's tattoo, the one that says "Woman Trouble."
Yeah,
it kind of reminds me of the Queen from Radiant, who has like Queen like tattooed on her hands. It's just like, I don't know what it is, but like women with these like singular powerful tattoos. It's just powerful.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, now I'm like really like committed to finding this. So you guys keep talking for a second because I need it, because it's such a cool fact.
Sure.
Yeah.
An interesting thing that I thought about this chapter was we get a name for the group Black Maria runs, right? The Marys. And I think
who they were. Okay.
I just think that's like interesting because like Black Maria, Mary, like so she's like the head of the Marys or whatever, and all these cats and mice and stuff with these like kind of like eye masks or whatever.
We've seen it like a lot in like manga and anime, like the eye thing, the eye drawing on top of the paper on top of somebody's face.
Right, like a talisman to like give you vision into things or whatever, right?
Which also, I love how well thought out that Kaido made his entire, like, his whole fortress. Like, yeah, we have these little cats and mice running around that aren't actually cats and mice. We just put the thing on, and then they're just little robots. Let them run. They see everything. If we need to know anything, we'll know because we have cameras everywhere, moving cameras literally everywhere. And nobody's going to think twice about it because it's just little rodents and cats.
Yeah, that is so cool, and I love how Oda incorporates like it's Oda technology. You know what I mean? Like transponder snails don't make sense, but it's One Piece, tech. You know what I mean? And like just like this kind of stuff is really cool to see whenever it shows up.
Hell yeah!
I can't find the stuff, so oh well.
Yeah. Well, if anyone knows in the comments, please drop us a comment, and I would love to know more about this this flaming staff or whatever. Super interesting.
Yeah. Hell yeah. But are we good on One Piece?
Yeah, that's about all I had. I mean, fantastic chapter.
Yeah, it's a great chapter. Like Oda did what Oda did best. These are the like good parts of like I don't want to say good parts of Wano, but like the good parts like in between all the fighting and the war, where he's giving exposition on everybody's character and everything that's going on, where everybody is, and he just handles it really well, which is per Oda.
Yeah.
Right. Hell yeah, you guys. Well, incredible conversation tonight. I think that'll do it for this episode of the Project Manga Podcast. Thank you all so much for watching. If you did, make sure you slap a like on the video if you enjoyed it. Make sure you hit subscribe if you're new, and hit the notification bell so we can chirp you when new content is live. I'll make sure to put Schnooty's contact information for his YouTube channel and everything like that down in the description so you can follow him and see what he's got going on. While you're down there, you'll see our link tree and other associated links so that you can follow us on Twitter, join our Discord, listen to us on Spotify and Apple, and support us if you'd be so inclined through our Patreon or online store. But with all that being said, I think that'll do it for this episode of the Project Manga Podcast. Wrapping up, I'm your host, Knox.
Nickums.
Schnooty.
Catch y'all next time.